So, for better or worse, guys, Marvel's Deadpool VR has arrived, and if you're looking for something of the same ilk as last year's Batman Arkham Shadow, well, then let me be the first to tell you that this is not that. But what we do have is ultimately a pretty solid game that fans of the titular character will absolutely love, while those of you who may just been excited for another superhero title after playing Arkham Shadow may be left feeling a bit disappointed. Welcome to the simulation. Inside the simulation, I am Too Damn Golden, your VR Voyager, and today it's all about Deadpool VR as we figure out if this is something you should play, buy today, or stay away from altogether. So, starting things off with the gameplay and narrative, essentially this is an unapologetically Deadpool experience complete with all the crass and crude one-liners and over-the-top violence that fans have come to expect from the divisive anti-hero, and this is a hack-and-slash action game that sees Deadpool being taken to Mojo World, a giant television station masquerading as a planet ruled by an alien called Mojo who is aiming to start a new program featuring some of the greatest fighters in the universe, battling in death matches against their will, and you, Wade Wilson, are the regenerative Canadian assassin tasked with bringing them in for a handsome sum, of course. Sprinkle in the fact that all of this is to be live streamed for millions, and this is the backdrop for your adventures as you will see yourself utilizing a variety of weapons to accomplish this task. The combat is absolutely fun in this one, folks, especially in short bursts in my opinion, as slicing through enemies feels satisfying and dual wielding for the most part is as smooth as you'd hope for in VR, although cue my first two critiques with this one, and the lack of contact physics is very noticeable and brings down the immersion a bit to me in this loud and chaotic comedic adventure, a problem that Deadpool suffers a great deal from in spots, but we'll touch on that a bit later. As another issue I noticed during my time with Marvel's Deadpool VR is the jarring frame rate dips during some of the more intense sequences, which once again is not only an immersion breaker but could be an issue for those who are prone to nausea and those who are more prone to motion sickness in general. And while the combat in this one is undoubtedly fun, I must admit that the game does start to repeat itself after a bit. The enemy waves, the encounter setups, and even the punchlines in some cases begin to recycle themselves, and I'm not saying that it's always bad, but it does wear a bit thin at times, especially due to this being a mostly linear experience. Thus, you're almost forced to constantly be engaged in often repetitive combat. However, I will say that the sheer energy of things really keeps it entertaining for me, at least, even during those times when the gameplay loop started to echo itself a bit. But shifting things towards the visuals, Marvel's Deadpool VR hits that sweet spot between comic book boldness and VR immersion with bright, colorful environments that pop, lighting that is well designed and dramatic, and Deadpool himself being incredibly expressive, as Twisted Pixel did a very good job at bringing Deadpool's mannerisms to life when VR, with every head tilt, exaggerated gesture, and sarcastic shrug shining through beautifully in the medium, and it really does feel like you're standing in the middle of a comic panel with well-executed set pieces that shift pretty dramatically between areas, helping to make Wade Wilson's over-the-top, self-aware universe truly come to life. Every environment feels unique and well-designed, and I do believe that the Borderland-esque cell shading in tandem with both the impressive lighting and general art direction was an excellent choice for this one, as the dev team was able to hide some of the limitations that being a Quest exclusive experience presents, so a big kudos to the team for that.
This would be a lot more fun if I was wearing a conductor hat.
Your next target is the living computer, Ultimo.
You mean Ultron?
Ultimo.
Pretty sure it's Ultron. He's in movies.
But now guys, you absolutely cannot talk about this game without talking about the voice acting and overall sound design in general, as all of you probably already know by now, Ryan Reynolds did not reprise his role as Deadpool for this title. Instead, that honor was given to Hollywood veteran Neil Patrick Harris, and here's where the divisiveness comes into play. You will either love and enjoy Neil Patrick Harris's turn as Deadpool or hate it. There's not really an in-between from what I've seen so far, and ultimately this will more than likely be the determining factor as to whether or not you enjoy this experience, as Deadpool VR is a very exposition heavy experience.
So Does that mean there's a god?
There are many gods. Thor, Hercules, Immersion.
No. I mean, like, real God, as described in one and only one of 3 major monotheistic religions who have competing books and ideologies.
We're not touching that one, are we?
No, just fucking with you.
That will see players engaged in a host of non-skippable cutscenes with dialogue and quips of Deadpool being on full display at all times.
Now that you put it like that, I'd be pissed. But don't tangle your elbows about it. 8 to 10 hours playing this game and we are gonna be peaches in a pod besties.
The sound effects in this one themselves are punchy, pretty crisp, and exaggerated just the way Deadpool would want them, and every explosion sounds like it was mixed in truly by somebody who was probably having the best day of their life, guys.
It's the best day ever.
It's everything that I guess you would want from a Deadpool experience, at least in my opinion, and the accompanying soundtrack layers in just enough intensity to push combat forward without ever overshadowing Deadpool's non-stop commentary, which to me is good because once again, this is a dialogue-heavy experience predicated and centered around the titular characters, constant one-liners, and input to push the narrative forward.
Wade Wilson from Ninja School. You sat behind me in tonfa polishing. OMG, what a reunion this is turning out to be. Did you know Lady Deathstrike is running this joint? Sunny D was her handle back then.
But moving on to Immersion, and Deadpool VR is a mixed bag in this regard, and its immersive qualities aren't about accomplishing true realism, but it's more about personality. This is a world that will pull you in simply because Deadpool will not let you go as he reacts to everything, guys, and I mean everything. This is a fourth wall adventure breaking title that at all times will have you fully immersed in the world around you, although the physical interactions don't always sell the experience. And that's the problem with this one to me, right? Because picking up objects, deflecting hits, and slicing through enemies do feel a bit consistent for my taste. And with regards to contact physics, once again, Deadpool certainly is lacking, which is a shame as it does detract from the overall immersion of things. But this is by no means a game breaker, as when this one hits, it does so with a bang. This is a loud game that is meant for people who are more in line with being actual Deadpool fans, and if you're here just for the jokes and for the comedy, this one to you will probably be peak immersion, but just with the caveat being that this is of course Deadpool style. But now guys, on to the most important question anytime we review a game on this channel: how fun is this game? And I have to say that Deadpool VR is a lot of fun if you like hack and slash adventure titles, as it does have a decent selection of weapons that you can choose from to dispatch enemies, and in my opinion it sports some overall excellent voice acting that absolutely nails Deadpool's humor. However, the stickiness of the movement outside of engaging in battles, repetitive combat instances, and the at times immersion-breaking dialogue and frame drops do prevent this game from being more than just above average to, good, and keeps it from being great. And putting a score to this one, I'd say it's about a 7.3 out of 10, as I put a lot of stock into the actual immersion provided by VR games, as to me this is the most important thing that separates average VR titles from great ones, and unfortunately Deadpool VR just missed the mark to me in this regard. However, all things considered, I do think that this title is definitely worth a play, with the caveat being that I wouldn't be mad if you waited for it to go on sale, as I'm always for supporting the devs, but again, I want more of an immersive experience, and that's just me throwing my 2 cents into that. But once again, this is not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. Alright guys, so that just about wraps up today's video. If you did enjoy, you already know what to do. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Really does help the channel out. And let me know in the comments below what you think of Deadpool VR. Is this something you've already played? Is it something that you've got your eye on? I want to know, so please be sure to let me know in the comments section. And if you're looking for some great new videos to check out, try one of these 2 on screen right now.